Hello, everyone. We're back again with another Pirates of the Caribbean kind of episode. Also, just random stuff. Probably going to be short because I don't have as much news stacked because last time I had it stacked for like weeks because we thought he was coming back. This time I have only 1 week worth of stuff.
I have a couple little things that I have done that I want to talk about and get your opinion on.
Let's start with that.
So I bought the Watchmen comic series.
I know nothing about that. I've seen the commercial of like the show. That's it. Like
I know nothing about it either. I haven't even started reading it yet.
I remember hearing that the show, or maybe it's a movie, I literally have no idea, but I think it's a show. I remember hearing that it was good.
Mm-hmm. So I have a good friend of mine that started reading the series probably like a week ago. And I remember when he started it. And he like is just about done with it now. And he was like telling me how good it was. So I ended up buying a copy.
Oh, yeah.
So I have to start reading and check it out.
Let's go, baby.
And then I bought the first collection of the IDW for the TMNT comics.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what issue up to because I have like the big books that have multiple ones of them.
Mm-hmm.
I have 3 of the books that contain multiple issues.
It has like Ralph on it.
Raph,
yeah, sorry. I was trying to figure out how
I don't remember who's on it. I guess I could look. But it's too far away, and I'm using a wired headset, so I can't go look.
Unfortunate, but
I do have them. They're good. I should get back into that. I haven't finished them. I read like halfway into the second book.
But I have been reading Armada, which is by the same author that wrote Ready Player One.
Ready Player One's decent.
Have you read the book?
No.
The book is really good, actually, for Ready Player One.
I mean, the movie's good, too.
The book is significantly... At least I think the book is cooler, because it has a lot more references, and the references are more done... Like, they're done nicer, and the whole Easter egg hunt is an actual, like... I don't know, it just is done differently. Like, the first race isn't how the egg is discovered.
I mean... Go.
It was discovered on, like, a... It was cool because the main character went to college in like the Oasis, and he found the first egg like location, or the first key location, sorry, at like on his like college campus sort of thing. Sure. Because it kind of made sense because Halliday wanted someone like a college student, you know, like someone because Halliday put thought into he wanted to inherit it, and it kind of made sense to start the hunt where like, you know, nerds tend to gather.
Nerds. I don't know about that. I wouldn't say nerds tend to gather in college. There's a lot of stupid people in college.
No, but I don't know how to describe it. I think it was it was high school. So actually I was way off. I'm trying to remember.
Was it like a nerd club or something?
No, it was just...
I mean, I barely remember the movie.
I haven't read the book in a while. But if you looked at like I think it was if you looked at like the planet that the school was on, there was like a clue based off of the geography, and that was kind of like the only hint. And then like,
I mean, sorry, keep going.
I forget. I don't remember enough.
Well, to be fair to your point, though, while normal schools aren't technically nerd gathering points, I guess a VR digital school probably would be.
Yeah, well, also the VR digital school is also a lot of it is because it's cheaper. So like in the
you don't have to go anywhere. It's kind of like staying home from or what they call it when school's online. That's
virtual school.
Yeah, that's just sucks.
Because in the books they have it where it's like, you know, in the future, like overpopulation's a thing, and they have like what are they called, stacks, and that's where like are basically like trailer parks, but there's multiple trailers on top of each other.
Yeah, I remember that. That's in the movie.
Yeah. So it's kind of like that. It was because they were, you know, poor, so it was easier for him to go to college or high school online.
I always find that, like, just in general, anime, TV shows, movies, probably books, but I haven't actually read any of this kind. But like video game stuff, I always find so cringe. Like even if it's good, it's still like cringe, to like that's not how people are. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that is true. It's overdone a lot of the time.
But some of them are like so like cringe like intentionally, and it makes it funny. The best example I can think of that is Video Game High School, where it's like meant to be super cringe, but that show's pretty good. What's his name? The Law.
I haven't seen that show in a long time.
I haven't seen it in a long time either, but I remember at one point he breaks his fingers and he's like, my WASDs. But that's it's still cringe. Like, no one talks like that, but
if you do it on purpose,
it's funny because it's on purpose. Whereas things like what's the one? Sword Art Online. Like the way the main character talks is so cringe, and it's meant to like make him seem cool, but it's just like, dude, no one talks like that. You know what I mean?
I do. He's like, I don't even know how to like. He like talks like a white knight.
Yeah, and he's like bragging about being a beta tester, but like usually beta testers end up being dog shit at the game anyways, because once it comes out, the tryhards are just better than you.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I'm a beta tester, so I'm basically a god at this game. It's like, dude, you played for like 1 week more. The game's now been out for months. You're no longer better than anyone. You know?
Yeah. He just rode the hype train.
But in that world, he somehow is like a god. Yeah. Sword Art Online is...
It was even dumb because I remember he died. Like, he actually just died. And the only reason why he didn't die is because he didn't want to die. But which didn't make sense because every single person up until that point, when they, like, their health bar hit 0, they turned to dust. Except him.
Yeah. I also like how he just had a skill that no one else could have, dual wielding.
Yeah, and then I like how they had to make it so that dual wield skill was able to carry through multiple games because they're like, how do we make him OP? And the way they played it off,
I watched the first season.
Engine.
Oh, okay. Well, I watched the whole first season and like some of the second season, and honestly, it probably doesn't hold up. I bet you if I went back and watched it now, I would be like, wow, this show's dog shit. But when I got to the second season, I even at the time felt like a huge drop. I was like, wow, I'm done.
Yeah, it never got better. The only thing that was kind of cool was the last season, I think.
You watched all the seasons? That's crazy.
I did. That was stupid.
I watched 1 and like maybe 4 or 5 episodes of season 2. At the time, I really liked season 1, but I was also like 12, so...
Yeah, season 1... Well, Sword Art was a lot of the reason why I got into anime. Because it was like
that was my
first ones
second one, I think, after Naruto. Second or third. I might have watched Full Metal Alchemist before that. I can't remember.
I think the first anime I watched was Full Metal. Then it was Naruto, Shippuden, whatever. And then it was Sword Art.
Yeah, those are my first 3 too. Different order, though. And honestly, like, Naruto, I personally think it's amazing. I could see how some people say it's not like a god tier one, but I think it is. But Full Metal Alchemist is like objectively a top 3 anime of all time.
I think Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is really good.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Anytime I talk about it, I mean Brotherhood.
Yeah,
the original's all right too. Like, it's not bad. It's still good, but yeah, Brotherhood's better.
Yeah, I liked Brotherhood. I remember. I watched it. Where did I watch it?
I did not watch it with you.
No, I was gonna say I think you should. And then I was like, no, you didn't. You showed me.
I might
Naruto.
have told you about it, but I never watched it with you.
I watched it camping. I was full wheeling with my parents.
Whole show.
No, I started watching it. I think I watched season 1 because I remember downloading it onto my like iPhone 5 or 4, 5.
And had to be a 5. Netflix. That's crazy. Wow. Man, I'm trying to remember like my early animes. I think I stopped watching anime for a long time, pretty much all of high school. I like after I had maybe freshman year I watched a little, but
I
like
started watching it a lot in middle school.
Same, but then I stopped in high school. I was just doing other stuff, I guess. I can't really remember. That might have been like when I just gamed all the time. I don't know. But I think I literally only watched those three. Then I stopped until like college, and then I started watching anime again. And now I've watched so many, I don't even know them all. You know?
Yeah, I forget which ones I've watched, and I'll start watching one thinking I haven't seen it, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Exactly. The worst is when I'm looking for a new one and I find one, I'm like, this looks interesting. And then I'm watching it and I'm like, this seems familiar. And then something happens and I'm like, wow, I really don't want to watch this. That was like stupid. Like it shows you that this isn't one you want to commit to. Then you stop and you're like, holy shit, I stopped at this exact moment last time.
That is funny how that works.
Because some of them that happens to me. Usually it's the romance ones that end up being too like disgusting in some way or like just creepy. Where you think it's gonna be like a normal story and then they turn into like insane people.
That does happen.
It's like what the hell? What am I watching?
Yuck. I'm trying to think of Domestic Girlfriend was a pretty terrible
That
one.
is one, yeah. But it's for like a little bit of the first episode, you'd think it's going to be normal.
And then they hit you with that's why it's called Domestic.
Then, is that I can't remember for sure. Is that the one with the suppository? Did you get that far? I'm pretty sure it's that anime.
I don't remember.
Well, that's the part where I stopped right there. I was like, what is going on?
I imagine you just slap the space bar, like kind of like brushed your hands clean, and you're like, I'm done with this.
Yeah, I was like, time to rewatch Naruto again. When I think of like let's just do this real quick because we got to kill time anyways. What are doesn't need to be the best ones, but your favorite animes, like easy to go and rewatch, or at least like parts of it, you know, because maybe you like a long one, but you don't want to go rewatch a million episodes.
There's kind of a couple, and there's varying like amounts of stuff I'll go back and rewatch. So
doesn't even need to be a rewatch. Could just be your favorite of all time, even if you've seen it once.
I really liked that little Prince one I've been telling you to watch, and you're like, no.
Oh yeah, well, that wasn't why. It was because he looks like a stupid idiot.
Yeah, that one. That's kind of the point. It's like the whole point of the show. He
looks like idiot. A Funko.
That's a good. I'm gonna look for the name. That one was good.
I know exactly what you're talking about too. And when you say the name, I'll be like, of course, that's what it is. But
To Your Eternity was another good one.
What would you say are your top 3? Not in any order, but just like your top 3 anime. Because I got mine locked in already. Naruto is my favorite. I feel like we can include them together, the two.
Yeah. Okay.
I actually exclude Boruto from it though, because I don't like Boruto. I see them as
season 1 and season 2 of Naruto in my head.
Yeah. I don't really... Season, not really. I think of more as parts, because then Boruto is like part 3.
Yeah, I guess it's a better way of seeing it.
I like part 1 and part 2. I actually think if you're looking at just like how like clean, no complications or anything, part 1 is like perfect, you know? Like it's
Ranking
not
of Kings.
Yes, that's what it is. Part 2 of Naruto Shippuden, while I think it has the hypest moments and the best arc in the series, part 2 has way more spots than part 1 where you could be like, that doesn't make any sense, you know?
Yeah.
Part 1 is tight though. But yeah, for me, Naruto is number 1. Number 2, I think Chunibyo. And number 3, favorite anime, I think it's Frieren, honestly, if it keeps up its pace. Obviously, if its second season is terrible, it would not be in my top 3, but right now it can be.
I'm trying to remember before I say it. I'm trying to remember I liked season 2 of this anime, and I
Also a big fan of Watamote, but that also got canceled with only one season, so I feel like I can't put it up there. But that show's hilarious.
I like. So I said, what did I say? I said Ranking of Kings.
Yeah.
Probably Full Metal Alchemist.
Slime or no?
Huh?
I thought you'd have that slime one in there.
Oh, fuck, yeah. Okay. Yeah, reincarnated as a slime. I actually, yeah, thank you for, wow. So there's just, there's like, it's so
There's
hard.
a lot of good ones, yeah.
There's hard to pick 3.
Well, like, what? Just list off, like, what are the memorable ones? Because obviously you've seen tons of anime. What are the memorable ones?
I like Slime. I still think about Black Clover a lot, but I don't know if that would hold up if I were to rewatch it.
That's happened to me where I've gone back and I've been like, huh. I
think it would, because I do distinctly remember watching it and being, like, annoyed early on, thinking, damn, the show is kind of boring. And I remember reading comments. Because, Crunchyroll disabled comments?
Like, right now it's disabled?
They've been disabled.
I didn't know that. I love reading Crunchyroll comments when something cringe happens and then you scroll the comments and people are like, yo, what the fuck just happened?
At least for me, they have. Have they, like, check and see if it's just, like, a me thing.
That's crazy. Keep talking while I check this.
But, where was I at?
I'm not even signed in. Damn it. You were said reincarnated as a slime, okay. Black Clover.
So, Black Clover. So, I remember thinking Black Clover was kind of bad in the beginning, and I remember reading comments being like, guys, just hold out. It gets better. And, and then it did get better. It got so much better. And then it got kind of
I hate that there's animes like that, though, because holy shit, they disabled comments.
Yeah.
That's so toxic. I love comments.
But so then it got good, and then it kind of slowed down, but that's because they caught up with the manga, and they kind of had to slow down. And then I can't pronounce it, but it's like a Moonlight Fantasy. It's probably my favorite isekai.
Isekai? For me, my favorite isekai is probably Konosuba. I think that show is hilarious.
Still haven't watched it.
All right, since you just listed off ones you remember, I'll list off ones I remember after you say this.
Sorry, and then like Faraway Paladin was another decent one. I think that was an isekai, but they like brought up like, yeah, he's reincarnated, but they don't actually ever talk about it. But it kind of matters to the story. But and then my favorite okay, I do have one trash anime that I do enjoy from time to time, called Wise Man's Grandchild. It's the most like generic trashy isekai you can imagine.
Okay, I mean, I just am not a big fan of isekai. Like,
I just like
some
the
are okay
fantasy aspect to it.
Yeah, that's what's annoying. Like, I guess that's part of the reason I like Frieren, right? Because it's like usually you only get that setting in isekai. Like, and a lot of them don't even need to be isekai. Like, it happens and then it's like either mentioned for 1 or 2 episodes and then never again. For the majority of them, some are different, but a lot of them it's like barely a plot point, you know?
Yes.
It's like you could have just started here, you know?
Yeah. I think you would like Codenamed Geass.
I've heard that's good. Damn, I'm looking at this Crunchyroll stuff. This sucks. That's so sad. Apparently, it's because some anime was getting like massive, like toxic comments of people wanting to kill each other or something. But that dumb. Sucks that it's for the whole platform. Like,
just moderate your platform.
Yeah, or if you really don't want to, at least just do that show. That's so toxic because, at least for me, a
I
lot
like
of
reading
the
comments.
yeah, and a lot of the like smaller animes that aren't, Naruto or One Piece, like you go in the comments and people are like actually really nice to each other because they're like, yeah, someone's finally watching the show I like.
Mm-hmm. People are passionate about their little anime.
Yeah, like I guess they don't exist anymore, but I used to find Crunchyroll comments way, way more like wholesome than YouTube comments.
Yes, me too.
And they were always about the actual thing going on, not some random thing. And I like
Remember
never saw
giggling at them.
spam either. Like
Occasionally, but that was only like on the bigger animes.
man, that freaking sucks though. That's so sad. That makes me like that like knocks Crunchyroll down a point for me because
Yeah, I'm looking for I really do like comments.
and that was something that I always used to think like, man, that's so cool. Like Netflix doesn't have that, Hulu, although Disney Plus, like that's cool to have comments.
Yeah,
And it's
cool
not
to
like they're
talk
a
about the thing.
child-friendly site either. Like I'd get it if it was Disney. They're like, we got to take comments off.
Yeah, but it's
But it's
like
freaking Crunchyroll.
it's fun to talk about what you're watching with other people that are also watching it. To have a community.
I've never
around it.
made
Unless
a
that's how you get
comment, but I
community
always-
around an anime.
Mhm.
I feel like
And
it's-
also useful when you're like watching it and people are like, the dub's out or something, like actual useful
Yeah.
information in the comments, or like the next week's episode was delayed, guys, it'll be out here.
or
like
or you're like, we'll be waiting for an anime to come out on a specific time, and you'll be like, where's this anime? So then you go read the comments for last week's episode, and you'll see a new one posted 20 minutes ago being like, guys, it got delayed, wait an hour.
yeah, that's happened to me a bunch, or a day, or whatever it
Yeah, it'd
is.
be
Like
like,
people
they canceled it
are
because
they're
of, like-
actually helpful.
Yeah, they'd be like, guys, the studio had like an off day, or it's like there was a holiday, so they were shut. So they were,
Or when you're trying to find an anime to watch, those comments are even more useful because they're like, it's kind of rough at the beginning, but it really picks up. Or they're like, don't watch this;
Like
it got
with Black
canceled
Clover.
in the halfway point. Don't watch this.
Yeah, like I probably wouldn't have watched Black Clover without comments because I wouldn't have held out.
Wow, that's huge disappointing news for me. Honestly,
How do you-
that's so sad.
Because a lot of the times animes do really just need a bit of setup time, and then they get really good.
I would say it is very common for anime to be shit for
A couple
at least
episodes.
the first one or two. And then apparently there are god tier anime like One Piece where you need to watch 100 episodes before it gets good.
I remember watching a couple, like 200 episodes of One Piece, at least, probably
I
more.
watched like 40 to 60, somewhere in there.
And I still didn't really find it entertaining. I didn't like the pacings. I hate when you watch something and you're like watching 20 minutes of actually nothing happening.
Oh god, dude.
Like
It's worse than Naruto, and I used to get annoyed about that in Naruto.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Like I'd rather watch every single flashback and filler episode of Naruto than watch One Piece.
Because at least in Naruto,
It's
like
just added world building.
but like Naruto's thing is you watch the same flashback a million times. One Piece's thing is that it just like freezes. Like it's just someone yelling and nothing's happening.
Or it takes
like
10 minutes
pans
to
to
throw
one
a
person,
punch.
shows his hand, pans to the other person, still for a second, then his reaction, pans back to show his hand again, pans back to show their face. Like it's like what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
Wow, I'm so sad though that Crunchyroll lost comments.
Kind of an L moment for Crunchyroll.
This video says Crunchyroll disables comments permanently. I really hope that they get enough feedback to where it's already been a month. It's not coming back. Unfortunately for international, it was on My Dear Friend Nokatan. That's the show that was getting bodied. I heard that show's good.
So why did but I don't understand why they would just decide to disable comments for one.
Apparently massive anti-LGBTQ comment, like, what do you call it? Like hordes or
Commenters?
no, like comment bombing, I guess, kind of like review bombing. That sucks, man. I wish they would have just moderated their freaking website, or if the most extreme they should have done was disable it on that show.
Or
you
just
know?
ban keywords.
I think they do that, don't they? Well, I guess they ban every word now.
Like, I'm sure you could disable the phrase LGBT or like any of the derogatory terms that you could use to, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, what's crazy is like, and I always read the Crunchyroll comments. Like when the credits start playing, I read the comments for a little. I don't skip the credits.
Because it's nice to listen to the music and read comments.
And I like very, very rarely see like toxic stuff. Definitely not people like arguing with each other. Occasionally I'll see like, yo, this show's dog shit. Yeah, but those are usually you have to click to see the spoiler. And I find their spoiler filter to be pretty good, or it was.
Mm-hmm.
But like I never had seen anything that bad on there. I usually like the worst thing I'd see was, yo, this show's dog shit or something, you know? But that sucks. So sad. My Crunchyroll expires this month sometime. I have to renew it for the year. Damn, that sucks. I love Crunchyroll, man. So disappointing. Big,
is there even
big
another
out.
streaming service?
High Dive, which sucks.
Yeah, they do.
Like, High Dive is really bad.
But they have comets.
I don't know, actually. They have a lot of dubs, though. That's the one thing.
They actually have some stuff that Crunchyroll doesn't have, though.
Yeah, because they make some animes, or own them at least. Maybe produce or something.
Yeah. I wonder if they're any good.
Well, that's a shame. I guess we'll move on to the movie. We got distracted with anime. But actually, I never said my memorable ones. I'll just do it now. I already said 3, Naruto, Frieren. Watamote was one I said 2, and then Shinibyo. Another one that I think is legendary though is Love is War.
That one
Another like super funny anime. The anime is hilarious. Like to make the freaking narrator one of the funniest characters, I feel like is insane, you know?
Mm-hmm. It's like Deadpool.
Yeah. What else? Obviously, you said it already. Full Metal Alchemist is a good one. Trying to think of other like that was a memorable ass anime. For me, it would be Konosuba. Yeah, I guess that's it really for like my peak ones. I don't watch that much shonen anymore. The shonens I liked were Naruto and Full Metal Alchemist.
I'll wait for the entire season of Demon Slayer to come out, but then we'll just on a whim binge watch the whole season.
I should finish Attack on Titan. I watched season 1 when it was new, and then they went on that like freeze for like 5 years, and I just forgot it existed. And then it came back like a year or two ago, and it was super hype. But I only ever watched season 1.
That show got so confusing.
I don't know. I wouldn't know. Anyways, though, those are, at least that I can think of right now, those are the anime that I'm like, those were all good. I'd recommend any of those. Yeah. Let's move on to the movie. So, first things first. I will say, for me, I still like this one more than the first one.
I think so too.
I find Davy Jones to be awesome.
He's
and
kind of
as we mentioned,
villain.
True. And as we mentioned last time, I actually think 99% of the CGI in this movie, you can't even tell, with the only exception being some shots of the Kraken.
Yes, I actually do agree.
Like, Davy Jones, never one moment did I think he looked bad. Same thing for all of his crew.
Mm-hmm. And, oh my god, especially when, like, their brains would fall out.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It kind of makes me sad. Like, how is Davy Jones is like still to this day, 18, 19 years later, He's in like the top 20% of CGI.
Doesn't that kind of say a lot about Disney?
Yeah, right. And what's crazy about it too, it's not like they use tricks. Like, you get some close-ups of him and he is not like hidden, you know? Like,
yeah, they're showing it off. They're proud of like him.
Yeah, like just think the first scene he's introduced when he's like pulls the pipe out and like it's like they light up his face and everything. They don't even keep it dark. You're like, oh, they'll keep it dark because it won't look good. They're like, nah, he looks great.
Light that shit up.
And he does look great.
He does.
Man, I miss long movies. I feel like this used to be the norm, was over 2-hour movies, and then people became like baby attention spans, and they're like, how long is the movie? More than an hour and a half? I'm not watching that.
Really? I remember movies being typically an hour and a half, and then sometimes they were longer.
I don't know. Maybe I just picked long movies back in the day, but I feel like 2+, that's a good length. Because I'm watching these Pirates movies, and like there are scenes where they are showing the characters and they're taking their time, and it's not all these cuts, and it's like, wow, I'm surprised that this is in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I like it, but I'm just surprised it's there. You know, like what's a good example in this one, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of scenes of them just talking that are like important, you know?
Even like I forget her name, the witch lady.
Teodoma?
Yeah, Teodoma. Telling like everyone's fortunes. Or like telling like the backstory. Like, you know, like I feel like that scene was very dragged out. Like longer than it, like they could have walked in, she could have been like, all right, welcome. And then just hit them with the exposition. But no, like they did a fortune thing that kind of fed into the plot. And then like, you know, like there's just more to it.
Yeah, and they take their time with the Davy Jones introduction too. Mm-hmm. Same thing. Like they start on their ship, they have Will go over there, explore. They have like there's a lot more to it than just
and they even before they even build up Davy Jones, they like we see Jack scared, running. He left his hat behind.
And yeah, again, it's like, huh, it's crazy. You get to see the Kraken on that attack that other ship, or like there's just scenes that it's like that didn't need to be there, but it's like more time in this world and I like it. Another one,
like the guys playing with Jack's hat, they did not have to play with his hat. They could have found it or like shown that like they picked up the hat and then the Kraken attacked the boat, but they gave us like a good like I'd say like 3-minute scene of them putzing around with it.
Mm-hmm. And I just really liked it. I do think that this one has less action than the other one, but I think it has a stronger story. Like the other one is pretty simple. Yeah. At the end of the day. Whereas this one, I feel like it almost feels like 3 movies going on at the same time. You have Jack's thing, and then you have Will and Will is kind of like split into 2. You have like Will and his dad, and then you have like Will and lady I forgot already, Elizabeth.
Yeah.
But and then you have Norrington, more mini, but still.
Yeah, you kind of have like his mini subplot, and then you even have like Elizabeth's dad.
Yeah, he's got his own little thing too. It's crazy because it's like, at least for these first 2 movies, I know later on it starts to not feel like this, but like it doesn't feel like Jack's the main character. It feels like everyone gets time, you know?
It's like the crew are the main characters.
Mm-hmm.
Versus like a single person.
And it really feels like, I don't know, like it just makes sense to me.
Cool. And it's kind of cool how like you'll see people's schemes interfere with other people's plans, and we get to see kind of both sides of that.
Yeah, even with as simple as those 2, the guy with the dress guys, like the guy with the eye and the other guy that's his buddy, like they're technically not part of Jack's crew, but they're just like doing what's convenient for them, and it sometimes lines up. Like they could so easily just be side nameless characters.
Yeah, but they have a whole like subplot across movies.
Yeah. And another one that I think is amazing that they didn't just drop off and pulls through. I think like Norrington's story continuing is really good.
That is pretty cool. Because it would leave a lot of questions on like what happened to him after everything. But he did kind of like from like a government perspective, he fucked up pretty hard.
But like you would like I feel like in movies these days,
They would just say what happened.
yeah, like at the beginning, and you think they're going because at the beginning they're like, "Oh, he's gone. He went out," right? And you're like, "Okay, that's how they knock him away." But then they actually bring him in. You get his story, and he plays a significant role in the last act.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. I love the movie, and I love that.
And like his quote like his betrayal makes sense. Because we have like the whole story.
Exactly. I will say that at least how it seems and how I remember it, it feels like when they made the first movie, and obviously, right? When they made the first movie, they obviously weren't expecting to do a trilogy. When they made the second one, they're like, this is going to be a trilogy. So the last two are basically part one and part two of the same movie.
Mm-hmm.
But even with that, trilogy not in mind at the start, I feel like they connected the first one really well.
I think so too. I think they took a look at the end of the first one and they were like, what questions or like how would we, like they kind of looked at it and they were like, what holes did we leave and what questions did we leave that we could answer leading into the second one.
Yeah, and I like how it's like it's the same as the first one, really. Like they don't think you're a dumbass. Like you have to watch the movie to understand what's happening. You can't just go in there and watch the funny jokes and action. You won't get the story.
Mm-hmm. Like
you have to listen when people are talking. You're not
listening to like what they're talking about 10 minutes beforehand.
Yeah. Like Jack has this whole thing where he is conflicted on what he wants. So that's why he's just trying to convince people to want what he needs to find.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, and that maybe I missed it. I'm confused. But I wonder what is the reason that he's conflicted on what he wants? Do you know? Did I miss that?
I think he wants, I don't know actually. I think he wants the heart, like to stab it.
He like can't know between the key and the chest, maybe.
Yeah, he doesn't know which one he would want more, the key or the chest.
That could be it. I'm not sure. I might have missed it, but it's clear he is not sure in what he wants.
While you're talking.
Yeah, do that. But it's clear that he's not sure what he wants. So then when he meets up with Will, he's, telling Will, this is what we need to find. You want this to save Elizabeth. So then he knows, like, this will lead us to it. And then Elizabeth to the other one, to the key,
Mm-hmm. So
it just is so cool.
So Jack wants the heart, but he also wants to escape the Kraken more. So
I see. So it's messing up.
Yeah, it's either pointing towards land and the heart.
Okay. That makes sense. But I love that he's trying to, like, he has to convince other people to want it so that he can find it.
I think there's a lot of debates. I think it's one of those like up in the air things.
Yeah. I think it's so cool though. And I think Elizabeth is actually a better character in this movie than the first one.
Mm-hmm. She's less, I don't know. She
just has more impact.
Active role, I feel.
Yeah, she's not just kidnapped. She's not Princess Peach.
Yeah, she's not a damsel to be saved. She's like an actual like character that has a role.
Actually, Will is a damsel slightly, but then gets himself off. Will is honestly pretty awesome.
He's a cool character.
I just feel like, man, they connect to the first one so well with bringing in Will's dad, and like the explanation of why he joined the Dutchman makes so much sense because he's literally just down there being crushed and he can't even die. Like,
that didn't make sense why he couldn't die.
Because in the first movie, The ones that you have to like donate your blood to get cured.
You're right. Yeah, yeah.
So he wouldn't have been cured. Or either that or he would have taken it before that cure because they were cursed for 10 years.
Yeah, so he was probably just a skeleton for a year and was like, this is terrible.
Yeah. Even 5, even a day probably on the bottom of the ocean. Like, eventually Davy Jones came to him and he's like, okay, I'll do it. My man probably didn't fear death. He just wanted to die.
Mm-hmm. He said he would do anything to escape it.
Yeah, he was trapped down there. He was dying, but Bootstrap Bill, also a great character. I love his interaction with Jack at the beginning, where you get like basically the connection of the first one to Davy Jones. Like, I love that. You know, you see how he got cursed. You see Jack made a deal to get the pearl.
Yeah, well, it's cool that in the first one we heard about Bootstrap as this guy that kind of like cared about Jack, at least enough to say something about the mutiny, which resulted in his death. And it's cool when they say that they threw him to Davy Jones' locker only to end up on his crew.
Yeah, technically not his death though, because he couldn't die.
He wishes his death. They're his death.
Yeah,
and then
I just love it.
So then they like show us like who Bootstrap Bill is to Jack, and then Bootstrap's like, Jack, it's time.
They sent me.
He's like, and it was funny how like Jack was like, better not be here. Or I like how Jack was like asking if this is a dream. He was like, no.
Oh, yeah.
He was like, if it's not a dream, you'd have a bottle of rum. And he just whipped one out. Rum.
It was pretty. You know what else I like about this movie? It's more towards the end that you hear this, but there's a part where like when they get the heart, they're like, no way, you were telling the truth. And Jack's like, I usually am. Just no one believes me. And that's true. He usually isn't lying.
That is true. Jack actually never lies, really. I don't think he has. At
least not about the important stuff.
Yeah, maybe about the little things. But normally a lot of the times he won't even lie. He'll just not tell you. Or will just hide details.
Yeah. Like, here's another thing. I feel like people miss this in the movie. I do not think Jack ever planned on letting Will get bodied. Like, when he first traded him, he tried to get him back. Like, he didn't want to leave him there. Mm-hmm. And then secondly, I think he was going to, like, his plan at the end of the day was he was actually going to get Will off too.
And I think the reason why Jack told Will, tell the Dutchman, like, Jack sent me to settle his debt, was
he didn't think it was going to work anyway.
No, because I feel like that was like the only way to get his attention. And like
he just wanted. Sorry, go.
Because like I feel like Jack probably knew that the Davy Jones really wanted Jack. Like, obviously, like, that was his goal. So, but like if Will like didn't say anything, he would have been executed along with the crew. But since he said that he knew Jack,
yeah. Not only that, though, but I feel like he was baiting you see it in the movie. He was baiting Davy Jones into kind of agreeing, where he's like, aha, now you say that it's sound, we just need to decide on a price. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Trying to see if there was actual value and figuring out leverage and stuff and seeing how, like, what's valuable to him.
Yeah. I really think Jack... I mean, I remember the other movies. We see how he feels about Will later on. But at this point, at least, I think he's cool with him. He doesn't want to body him. I mean, if it's unavoidable, he'll get out of there. But
yeah,
I think a lot of people think, oh, he tricked him onto the Dutchman? That's fucked up.
I don't think Jack hates him.
No. It was good. I liked it. He was gonna save him for sure.
Yeah. I think Jack cares about his friends, quote unquote, whatever he wants to call them.
His crew. It's good. I like it. I'm trying to think of other good moments. The wheel fight when the camera is spinning with it, I think is so cool.
Pretty cool.
It's just a really good movie,
it's cool
man.
Fighting the Kraken. and they're like, oh, what's the quartermaster's name?
Gibbs.
When Gibbs was like, hold, man, steady now. Like when he's just like telling his, like, you know what I mean? Like when they're waiting.
I feel like they also do a really good job. Yeah, I really like they make the Kraken so good. It's so scary. It's undefeatable. Same thing with Davy Jones. Scary, like.
Mm-hmm. And it's cool that the Pearl is the only thing that can actually get away.
Yeah, I felt like that would have been an easy thing for them to forget that the Pearl is the fastest ship ever.
Mm-hmm. And that's only because with the wind. But if it was if the wind was going towards them, the Dutchman would get them.
Like they had to use the Kraken to stop the Pearl. It was the only chance they had. They couldn't catch it.
Yeah.
Great stuff. And now, I just love it. Like that villain. And I think Barbossa is a great villain too. But man, Davy Jones is just so scary.
I think Barbossa is a good like first villain. You know, and then once you know
Davy
that
Jones is like a Thanos.
Yeah, then once you have a bit of time to like set things up, a Dutchman or not, like Davy Jones is a really good one, especially because like you hear his name a lot. Like in the first movie, like you're gonna go to Davy Jones' locker and whatever, and it's cool to actually see the guy.
I do think it's a bit ridiculous how like Norrington, for example, does not believe this Davy Jones stuff after the first movie with the Cursed Pirates. It's like, you know, man, maybe he's real.
Yeah.
You know,
I feel like after that, like any like rumor about like a mythical thing, I would just assume
you would at least be like, I'm gonna be careful. Like maybe
I'll stay away.
Would think,
at the least.
When I hear a rumor, I would think instantly like it's a 50-50 at least. You know,
like it's enough to like proceed with caution.
Yeah. Crazy. It's so good, man. I love that movie.
And it's cool, I remember the third teased about Davy Jones' love life.
Yeah. Do you know like the story? Do you want me to tell you stuff that is shown in this movie as like very, very minor like foreshadowing, but we'll kind of tell you what happens in the next movie?
Tia Doma?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know about it.
Well, if you're like watching the movie,
she has the heart.
This movie
has the heart.
Yeah, they have like the same locket. She has like a thing in her shack of him.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool.
I mean, also, it kind of makes sense the way she talks about him.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, the first time I watched him, I didn't know.
Yeah, I guess it's one of those. I guess the first time I watched it, I thought she was just a witch.
She's also really hard to understand. So maybe the first time I watched it, I didn't even know what she was saying.
Yeah, and it definitely helps having captions on.
They really don't make movies like this anymore.
No, they don't. I like movies that have like details that make you be like, huh, that's cool.
Yeah,
where
also
it just feels
like
a cohesive world. And we're just happen to be viewers of it, a story.
Exactly. And these movies, all of them, probably, at least the first two, because we've watched them recently, but in my memory, I think it's all 5 of them. They are like peak for sets and environments and costumes.
I think one thing I liked about this movie was seeing the Pearl out of the water. I don't know why.
Oh, yeah.
But I find that kind of cool when we see boats and stuff out of the water. Because normally you don't see them like that.
Yeah. With that whole island section.
Yeah. Oh my god, I like the dog.
Yeah, the dog that probably died.
I don't think he does. I think he's in the third movie.
I can't remember, but I guess we'll see by next week. Overall, it's a great movie. Davy Jones rocks. It builds up appropriate hype for the next one. And then the ending is really good too. I like how... Tell me what you think about this. I'll tell you how I interpret it. The whole movie, Elizabeth is trying to help find Will, and he's like, this compass shows you what you want most. I think she actually doesn't know if she obviously loves Will, but I think she like likes Jack and she doesn't want to, and that's like the main reason she wanted to kill him. And then it's after you was just an excuse.
I think I kind of interpreted it as like she liked this, like the sense of
She likes the life.
Yeah, she likes the pirate's life.
Yeah, and he is like the representation of that life
and her want for it.
Yeah, which makes her upset. Like she doesn't want to be like him.
Mm-hmm. So I guess maybe,
and that's why she wanted to kill him, because she's like, I don't want that. You know?
Yeah, maybe, probably.
That's how I see it. It's not clearly laid out, but in my view, it's like, because even in the first movie, she was always amazed with pirates. She liked pirates. In this movie, it's like, does she does really want this chest, but sometimes it's like, man, she really wants this pirate life, is what I interpret it as when it points at Jack.
Yeah.
So she bodied him.
She did.
Poor guy. But I do think his reaction is good, like where he just kind of accepts it almost.
Yeah, it's like, not much I can do. Actually, he could have got away. Accept it though. He tries to escape.
Well, he gets out of the thing and then he accepts it again.
Yeah, then he draws his. I guess he just wanted to go down swinging.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he really does just kind of jump into the beast, no, he doesn't jump in, but he goes down swinging.
The only thing I can say, like, I get it, they're in a rush, but if I'm one of Jack's boys, I would look up and be like, seriously, man?
Seriously?
You know? You're staying? Like,
you dumb?
You know what I mean? But I guess, you know, like, they're like, we gotta get out of here. Fuck him, you know? And then I think that reveal at the end of Barbossa coming back, that's great, honestly.
Yeah, that was pretty cool reveal. I want to know, I wish there was a bit more explanation as to how.
I think they say it in the next movie. But long story short, which lady brought him back? But I think they'd go more descriptive in the next one.
Okay.
And it's like, yeah, I guess he's the perfect one. He's come back to life, so he can help with that. He's probably the best captain besides Jack. And he's just a cool character.
True, he was pretty cool. It was. I liked watching him. I feel like him and Jack would be cool to like watch interact with each other. Like more so than like in the first movie. Because it seems like they would like annoy each other.
In the third movie, they do.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I would say I do like this one more. Not a massive amount more. I think both are still solid. I would say they're both 9s. I just like this one a little more.
Mm-hmm.
How's it looking for you?
It's pretty good. I would say like a 8.
Yeah, I think you gave the last one an 8.
Seems about right.
If you haven't seen them,
but I both think like I don't know how to.
Yeah, but not a whole point more.
But
if you haven't seen them, you're very far behind on the times. They're the only good pirate movies that exist, at least that I know of. So go watch them. And if you have seen them, they hold up, and the CGI holds up 95% of the time.
If you haven't,
and even
them?
the ones that look. Even the moments of CGI that look bad, you know, we see that in Marvel movies now too. So
yeah, wouldn't notice a difference. Yeah.
I think that's it.
Yeah,
you can wrap it up here. Thanks for watching, everyone, or listening. Oh yeah.
Keep it salty, guys.